in your income tax on rent. That the law require. So whether it be individual tenant or we always engage, but the property tax laws and when I cities council they administer, then we administer the income taxes. But as I say, we always engage yourself. But again, the populace need to understand who say we will stop, and we not only property that will generate income to the owners. Now that income they will tax. Unlike city council, then they tax the fact that you have a property from their own laws, and again their own methods how they do it. Basically, and I'll comment into the details of that.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah.
For the program, in case you just tune in, you listen to the Commissioner for the Domestic Tax Department from the National Revenue Authority, Dr. Ibrahim Sori. There this morning they explain about different tax terms where the Domestic Tax Department they collect, especially the one we get for do with the rental income tax. So we'll come back to you, Doc, and we'll continue the program. Good morning, Salone.
Well, we will look at other issues at the program now. Usai, for the past week now, police they
looking at penetration of a child, which is a complete and separate offense, and evidence that we would require to prove that by law. And then we are now looking at murder, which is also a separate offense that we would look at and require to prove by law. What we are seeing at this moment, if we have said we are looking at murder on one hand and sexual penetration on the other hand, there is a chance, a tendency as the evidence is unfolding, that there is a disconnect between the two in terms of what happened to the child. But again, it's difficult to arrive at any conclusion now as to where we are going, when we will be in court, because we are still waiting for further clarifications and further evidence to be brought to us. The file is not with us yet in the law office.
During the question and answer session, I asked the Attorney General of Justice how important the autopsy results upon the investigation of this case.
Autopsy report is a very important expert perspective on what happened. So obviously we will use it for its probity and value, and we will still have to be sure, because what the expert witness is telling you is what he saw on the child. What the expert witness cannot tell you that it is you that did it, okay? So that is now an investigation. And again, let me say, I am not conducting the investigation, okay? So yes, to your question, the expert witness, the expert evidence is there. The doctor took it, he's the qualified expert, and his own role in the prosecution is only one aspect of the matter. It cannot give us on its own who is liable for doing that. Autopsy report does not tell me who raped or who killed or who did what to lead to the death of the child.
Priscilla Swart continues to say the law officer they work with the police on this investigation, with this according to the Inspector General of Police, Michael Ambrose Vola. Police they investigate the case according to the principle of the law officers department.
The police investigation is being done in line with the law officers department, and they are the legal people that we advise us at the end of the investigation as to what we can do next in terms of preferring charges, if any. They are the legal people.
Different information with different version on social media, but this case and this social media involvement in the case now one where one state prosecutor now the Department for Public Prosecution Adrian Fisher say go embark investigation on this case.
Members of the public need to be cautious about what is posted on social media, simply because it's a live investigation that is ongoing, and there's a potential for damage to this case if people are posting unsubstantiated facts or dressed up as facts in social media. So that is one message that members of the press here can send out to the public.
Justice for rape and sexual penetration victim them now one way people don't they call for, but better evidence now one way at forget for push them kind case go before we make people don't they call for forensic lab. But according to the Minister of Gender and Children's Affairs, Manti Tarawali, government don't get couple for by forensic machine them for do test per rape victim them so that they will get sufficient evidence na courts.
What thing of still give it the same evidence, forensic evidence. DNA devices, which can also be known as forensic devices. Those are mobile, and then one day now they really buy for logo use now the one-stop center then. Just know say the money is aside. I don't set aside. I don't put together a task force. The community of scientists, I don't put the scientists then together, both locally here and internationally. Let them come together with the report on the model role for use. The one who go work in a salon, will not go buy something, it can't sit down, will not get possible for user, but it go work in a salon. So hopefully I get a report today next week, and when I get a report today, the money they will be able to buy.
Even though Mantitarwali they assure the public say it no go take again, government go buy the forensic machine them, but forensic lab. Now one way people don't they call for long term, and this na Mantitarwali in response to
forensic lab, like police want her, because not for SGBV no more they go use them for. They go use them for Boku crime, but that is expensive. And so they all get for come together with, we all together and then decide on who's one for buy. But because me one with this, because we also get case the way they come, and we want for let we get the evidence for Kelgo na court made and go get evidence for charge, we dey run with the DNA devices. DNA devices only for the SGBV, and it will give us what we need.
As Mantitarwali they assure the public of forensic machine them, where government don't plan for buy we know they take again. People hope say this could be just now for help and defense against rape and other bad thing them we can happen to woman and girl picking them. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Musa S. Kamara.
Better don't come. A Union Trust Bank again. Union Salone Banco. Union Trust Bank get plenty product and service there for you. You must get what you want to go better. Let me savings account, ide. Current account, ide. Fixed deposit account, ide. Credit facility, ide. All for you. Me and you. Union Trust Bank, na Salone for me and you. It's future savings account, ide. Union Trust Bank, oh.
Union Trust Bank, empowering Sierra Leonean businesses.
The program Good Morning Salone they continue, and the time from studio clock now 22 minutes past the hour 8 o'clock. We still get Dr. Ibrahim Soyi in the studio. We are the commissioner for the domestic tax department. Now the National Revenue Authority they are today they talk about different tax
income tax returns annually. But the whole process starts at the start of the year. We get for make self-declaration first. You got to come up outrightly and say this is what I'm expecting this year for my business, for my rental property, and all other income sources. So we declare that day, you pay quarterly the amount of tax we don't declare willingly. The whole year done, 120 days at the end of the year, you to call annual income tax returns, where they show exactly how much total income you don't make, total expenses, what are the profits, what are the advance tax that you don't pay during the course of the year, and what are the difference if you pay more or how much more if you claim back from NRA. So annually, so even when you are a landlord, you get for register with NRA, you get for get a TIN number, you get for file annual income tax returns. So
quickly, una na NRA, what una considers tax return?
Tax return are like a simple form. Now a form where you key in information, fill in information, and submit to NRA on your tax institution, the income we make, we subject to tax. So I just a form where you complete, get all the personal details and disclosure of your income and how much you don't pay as taxes, how much more you need for pay, how much you for not just like kind of documents.
Talking about personal details, Doc, una na the NRA, una get a database of people all the one them where they pay them tax them yearly, the different tax them, so that when them come for let people file in the tax return, una not go get some mixed up na some certain area then?
Yes, we get a database, and database will update them regularly, because some people will do a database today to buy the seats for an income, and at the same time some new one they come also in the tax world. So when they register a business, I make get process that they get live information about everybody that had income. I make recently we still say we get people who have been sent all over the place to questionnaires them. The objective amongst which now for ensure say we get reliable data for taxation. And also we feel say other third parties then get the information they are where NRA need on for administer taxes on a particular tax handle or on generally on an individual business, would also contact the organizations and that make we finance, so we partner with City Council, partner with NATCOM, for instance, partner with a whole lot of organizations for ensure say we get credible data for manage taxes in Sierra Leone.
That take you back to the issue we get for the compliance for the rental income tax. What are the penalties them we do for people we get host them where they rent them over the 7.2 million we talk about? We know they pay the rental income tax. What are the penalties?
Okay, one thing people know is that whenever they earn income where they above the taxable threshold, now it's 600,000 per month, which means 7.2 million per annum. Anybody with the earn income where they above that threshold, the law is say for declare them and pay to NRA 30% of the income. For some tax, like they rent at 10%. That's what I don't say clearly. So if you not do that an offense in the first place, we fail for declare, then they call it evading tax evasion, and then it's high penalty as high as 50 million and or term of imprisonment will go up to 5 years, depending on get against you.
Most people don't understand say this particular tax here don't begin for implement, so do it be done then the law according to you, but now a burden to the tenants then.
Burden to the tenants. What if you know they get tax evasive offense where we decide the whole thing, but the landlord therefore always ensure say even where your tenants don't withhold, because you also get some tenant landlord them way